We're down in Alabama at the Biologic testing facility with Bobby Cole. I just want to take really a couple minutes and talk a little bit about food plots.
Yeah.
People, food plots are getting so much more popular over the last few years, and I get asked a lot, what does it take to get into it, and how expensive is it?
And those are fair questions because there's a lot of, especially people that are new to it, don't know. But it doesn't take a lot to get started. Actually, the seed is probably the most inexpensive part of the whole process.
Right. That's what I found out myself.
Right.
I started off with just a hand rake and doing a tiny little plot, but of course, if you got any deer population at all, they just eat that right down.
That's right.
Then I went to the ATV, then I went to renting and borrowing, and then I actually bought my own little tractor. But it's just a progression, and I think once you start to get into it and you see, like a good example, last night I was hunting a food plot just on the other side of this one off in the distance here. There's all kinds of does and fawns out there, and I was just set up off the food plot about 50 yards, and I had 3 different nice mature bucks coming scent checking these fields. So you can create that hot spot. You don't need a big piece of property. If you lay it out right and do it right, put your food plot, and you can kind of manipulate those deer where they're going to want to be and where they want to go. And that is the beauty and the great thing about food plots. And everybody that I know that's gotten into it, once you have that first food plot, you want more and you want bigger.
That's right.
And it's just a progression, but you can start off, as easy as, like I say, with a hand rake or an ATV and work your way up. Eventually you get to a tractor if you start this.
Well, when you really think about it, property around you doesn't have food plots, but you go in there and you sculpt and you craft and you of lush, tender, succulent food plots, you're going to suck deer from your neighbors.
Oh, exactly.
It can really make a difference. And then you get into a regime of having something there for them in the springtime, and the does get accustomed to coming in there and dragging their babies in there, and they feed all summer long.
They learn, they're educated
right.
throughout the whole
Here's
process.
where I go to feed. We started a magazine called Farmer for Wildlife.
Yeah, I've actually been getting this for about 6 months now. It's got all kinds of articles on basically managing your property, what to plant, where to plant.
That's
just
right.
a bunch of neat
burning and timber management. It's A to Z, and not only for deer but for turkeys and waterfowl as well.
Well,
so.
I really appreciate having me down, and
I was impressed with your self-control because the deer that you had come up on you was a nice deer.
Yeah, that would be a good deer anywhere, I think.
Well, we're trying to learn this place, but I've showed you some utilization cages and that really tells the story about the food plots.
Yeah.
And you showed us something we hadn't seen. Well, you're welcome to come back anytime. We appreciate it.
Well, thanks, man.